let's get right in. Let's get started with 1 Kings chapter 16 in the King James Version. Then the word of the Lord came to Jehu, the son of Hanani, against Baasha, saying, Forasmuch as I exalted thee out of the dust, and made thee prince over my people Israel, and thou hast walked in the way of Jeroboam, and hast made my people Israel to sin, to provoke me to anger with their sins, behold, I will take away the posterity of Baasha, and the posterity of his house, and will make thy house like the house of Jeroboam the son of Nebat. Him that dieth of Baasha in the city shall the dogs eat, and him that dieth of his in the fields shall the fowls of the air eat. Now the rest of the acts of Baasha, and what he did, and his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel? So Baasha slept with his fathers, and was buried in Tirzah, and Elah his son reigned in his stead. And also by the hand of the prophet Jehu, the son of Hanani, came the word of the Lord against Baasha and against his house, even for all the evil that he did in the sight of the Lord, and provoking him to anger with the work of his hands, and being like the house of Jeroboam, and because he killed him. In the 26th year of Asa, king of Judah, began Elah, the son of Baasha, to reign over Israel in Tirzah 2 years. And his servant Zimri, captain of half his chariots, conspired against him, as he was in Tirzah, drinking himself drunk in the house of Arza, steward of his house in Tirzah. And Zimri went in and smote him and killed him in the 27th year of Asa, king of Judah, and reigned in his stead. And it came to pass, when he began to reign, as soon as he sat on his throne, that he slew all the house of Baasha. He left him not one that urinateth against a wall, neither of his kinsfolk, nor of his friends. You may have saw the word that begins with the P word, but this is YouTube. Not quite sure which words are supposed to be. I know there's a thing when it comes to so many words and how many and whatever, but just to make sure, sometimes I will do little minor edits, but you may have probably saw the P word because this is in the King James Version. Let's continue to read. Thus did Zimri destroy all the house of Baasha, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake against Baasha by Jehu the prophet. For all the sins of Baasha and the sins of Elah his son, by which they sinned and by which they made Israel to sin, in provoking the Lord God of Israel to anger with their vanities. Now the rest of the acts of Elah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel? In the 27th year of Asa, king of Judah, did Zimri reign 7 days in Tirzah, and the people were encamped against Gibbethon, which belonged to the Philistines. And the people that were encamped heard say, Zimri hath conspired, and hath also slain the king. Wherefore all Israel made Omri, the captain of the host, king over Israel that day in the camp. And Omri went up from Gibbethon, and all Israel with him, and they besieged Tirzah. And it came to pass when Zimri saw that the city was taken, that he went into the palace of the king's house, and burnt the king's house over him with fire, and died. For his sons which he sinned in doing evil in the sight of for the sins which he sinned in doing evil in the sight of the Lord, and walking in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin which he did to make Israel to sin. Now the rest of the acts of Zimri and his treason that he wrought, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel? Then were the people of Israel divided into 2 parts. Half of the people followed Tibni, the son of Ginath, to make him king, and half followed Omri. But the people that followed Omri prevailed against the people that followed Tibni, the son of Ginath. So Tibni died, and Omri reigned. In the 31st year of Baasha, king of Judah, began Omri to reign over Israel 12 years. 6 years reigned he in Tirzah, and he bought the hill Samaria of Shimmer for 2 talents of silver, and built on the hill, and called the name of the city which he built after the name of Shimmer, owner of the hill, Samaria. But Omri wrought evil in the eyes of the Lord, and did worse than all that were before him. For he walked in all the way of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and in his sin wherewith he made Israel to sin, to provoke the Lord God of Israel to anger with their vanities. Now the rest of the acts of Omri which he did, and his might that he shewed, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Omri slept with his fathers, and was buried in Samaria. And Ahab his son reigned in his stead. And in the 38th year of Asa king of Judah began Ahab the son of Omri to reign over Israel. And Ahab the son of Omri reigned over Israel in Samaria 22 years. And Ahab the son of Imri did evil in the sight of the Lord above all that were before him. And it came to pass, as if it had been a light thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, that he took to wife Jezebel, the daughter of Ithbaal, king of the Zidonians, and went and served Baal, and worshipped him. And he reared up an altar for Baal in the house of Baal, which he had built in Samaria. And Ahab made a grove, and Ahab did more to provoke the Lord God of Israel to anger than all the kings of Israel that were before him. In his days did Hiel the Bethelite build Jericho. He laid the foundation thereof in Abiram, his firstborn, and set up the gates thereof in his youngest son Zigub, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by Joshua the son of Nun. Okay, so there's a lot in here, sermon upon sermon. And some people pronounce Nun as noon instead. And so sermon upon sermon in here. But there was one thing that while I was reading that made me think of something, and immediately a past to present thing. And it said there, verse 2-3, for as much as I exalted thee out of the dust and made thee prince over my people Israel, and thou hast walked in the way of Jeroboam, and hast made my people Israel to sin, to provoke me to anger with their sins. Behold, I will take away the posterity of Baasha, and the posterity of his house, and will make thy house like the house of Jeroboam the son of Nebat. I'm not quite sure why this reminded me of parental discipline, parental punishments. Like, you did something wrong, and now I'm going to take away something from you, or you're grounded, or you'll have to face other consequences as to what actions were taking place. And a lot of times we get into ourselves, and we get into our thoughts and feelings, and we get into doing things and don't understand the consequences of those actions, whether we believe they're good or bad, whether we believe that they helped people or did not help people, or if they were for selfish reasons even. Understanding that, and understanding that only the Lord God, he knows the past, present, and future, and he knows how things operate because he created all things. Why don't we continually seek him, and why don't we continually ask for his guidance? Sometimes we wake up and we have an agenda already that we want to go through. Do we ask the Lord for his guidance? And then when those agendas, something happens during that time, the car doesn't start, or you failed to do something, or you did something, but it didn't cause the reaction or the thing that you wanted to happen, even throughout your life. Why is it? Is it because we are just too decided in our own self that we don't need to ask the Lord? Or this is something that I can handle. Why do I need to ask the Lord about everything, right? Sometimes we get into ourselves, and we get into things that we should be communicating with the Lord with at all times, letting him know, saying, hey, this is what I'm going through. This is what's going to happen. This is what I believe I need to do for today, or this is the actions that I think that I need to act. Is there something that I'm missing? Is there something that I need to seek towards, or do I need to be still and let you act for me? A lot of times we'll be surprised where we go to do something and something's been done for us. Something has been taken care of, or our actions that we have were protected through the day through his holy protection, and we're able to succeed and fulfill the requests that we set out to do. So think about those things. Before we go on to the next point, though, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when we read over this? How does it make you feel, and what does it make you think?